Good morning, students. This is your English lesson, and in this lesson, we are going to read unit number 2 from Oxford Modern English. And the topic is Pip Meets a Convict. Words to know: battery, a fort; blacksmith, a person who creates tools and objects out of metal; churchyard, the area around a church used for burials, usually full of tombstones; chorus, rough; convict, prisoner; file, a metal tool with a rough edge or surface, used for cutting or something hard material; grub, a slang word for food; marsh, a wetland area by water, usually covered in small plants; nettles, a weed that stings skin when touched; orphan, a child whose parents are dead; ravensley, eating fast due to greed or hunger; tombstone, a large flat stone standing over a grave; weathercock, a device in the shape of a cockerel used to show which way the wind is blowing; wilderness, a natural space that has not been shaped or lived in by people. Let's start reading. My father's family name is Pip and my first name Philip, but as a child I couldn't say either, so I called myself Pip, and then so did everyone else. I say that my name is Pip because that's what is written on my father's tombstone, and it is what my sister told me. My sister is married to the blacksmith. We lived in a marshy area down by the river a few miles from the sea. One day I stood in the churchyard and looked over my parents' tombstone at the dark flat wilderness beyond the churchyard. The marshes were crisscrossed with ditches and mounds. In the distance I could see the grey line of the river and then far away the sea. It was a cold day. The grey land and the grey sky made me feel sad. I suddenly realized that I was an orphan and I began to cry. Hold your noise, cried a terrible voice. It came from a man who had just stepped out from behind a gravestone. Keep still, or I'll cut your throat. This man was frightening. He was dressed in rough grey clothes and he had a big iron chain on his leg. He was an escaped convict. Convict means a person found guilty of a criminal offense. His shoes were broken and he had an old rag tied around his head. He was dirty from being soaked in the muddy water from the ditches. He was covered in scratches from nettles and stones. He limped and shivered and glared and growled. His teeth chattered in his head as he seized me by the chin. Oh, don't cut my throat, sir, I pleaded in terror. Tell me your name, said the man. Quick, Pip, sir. Once more, said the man, staring at me louder. Pip, Pip, sir. Show me where you live, said the man. Point out the place. I pointed to where our village lay, a mile from the church. The man looked at me closely, then he turned me upside down and emptied my pockets. There was nothing in them but a piece of bread. The upside-down view of the church righted itself when he placed me on a high tombstone. I sat, trembling, while he ate the bread ravenously. Ravenously means in the manner of someone who is very hungry. Now look here, said the man. Where are your parents? There, sir, I said. The man jumped and made a short run, but then he stopped and looked over his shoulder. There, sir, I timidly said. Timidly? lacking in courage or self-confidence, pointing to the tombstone. "Oh," said the man, "so who do you live with, if I let you live?" "Which I haven't made up my mind about. My sister, sir, Mrs. George Gargray, wife of Joe Gargray, the blacksmith, sir." "Blacksmith, eh," said he, and looked down at his leg. After looking at his leg and me several times, he took me by both arms and tilted me back as far as he could hold me. Tilted me move or caused to move into a sloping position. Then he started into my eyes. Then he stared into my eyes. "Now look here," he said, "I need to decide if I will let you live. Do you know what a file is?" "Yes, sir." "And you know what grub is?" "Yes, sir." After each question he tilted me over a little more. This made me feel helpless. I was in danger. "You get me a file." He tilted me again. "And you get me grub." He tilted me again. "You bring me both to me." He tilted me again. "Oh, or I'll have your heart and liver out." He tilted me again. I was dreadfully frightened and hoped that he would not drop me. I clung to him, clung hold on with both hands. He dipped me backward and rolled me round, so that the church seemed to jump over its own weathercock. Then, still holding me up on the tombstone, he went on. "Early tomorrow morning bring that file and the grub. You bring the lot to me at that old battery over there. If you do it and you don't say a word about me, I will let you live. If you fail or say anything at all about me, then your heart and your liver shall be torn out, roasted and eaten. Now I am not alone. There is a young man hiding with me. In comparison with him, I am an angel. That young man can hear us now. That young man had a secret way of getting a boy, and at his heart and at his liver. A boy can't hide himself from that young man. A boy may lock his door, may be warm in bed, may tuck himself up, may draw the clothes over his head, may think himself comfortable and safe, but that young man will softly creep his way to him and tear him open. I am keeping that young man from harming you at the present moment with great difficulty. I find it very hard to hold that young man over your inside. Now, what do you say?" I was so frightened, but I said that I would get him the file, and I would get him what broken bits of food I could, and I would come to him at the battery early in the morning. "Promise on your life," said the man. I promised, and he took me down from the top of the tombstone. "Now," he went on, "remember that promise, and remember that young man, and good night, sir." I stammered, say something with difficulty. "It is going to be a long night for me," said he. He looked at the cold, wet, flat marsh. "I wish I was a frog or an eel." He hugged his shuddering body in both his arms, as if to hold himself together, and limped towards the limped walk with difficulty. Church wall. He got over it slowly, like a man whose legs were numbed and stiff, numbed me dead, and then turned round to look for me. When I saw him turning, I was frightened again and ran home without stopping. Thank you for listening. Now come to the questions. Question number 1 is, what was Pip's full name? The answer is, Pip's full name was Philip Tripp. Question number 2. Where did he live and with whom? The answer is, Pip lived in his sister's home with his sister and her husband, the blacksmith, Mr. Joe Garber. Question number 3. Why did Pip start to cry in the graveyard one day? The answer is Pip started to cry in the graveyard one day because he realized that he was an orphan and felt sad. He was also made to feel sad by the grey land and sky. Question number 4. What did the convict tell Pip to get for him? The answer is the convict told Pip to get him a file and some grub. Question number 5. Where and when did the convict want to meet him again? The answer is the convict wanted to meet Pip early the next morning at the battery. Now come to the next part. These questions are more difficult. Discuss them first. Question number first. It means F part. What did the convict say and do to frighten Pip? Then the answer is the convict picked Pip up and put him on top of a gravestone. He turns Pip over and bends him backward while holding on to him. He threatens Pip by saying that another man is hiding with him and he will attack him and eat his innards. Question number 2. How do we know that the convict was cold and hungry? The answer is we know that the convict was cold and hungry because he was shivering, his teeth was chattering due to his wet, and because he asked Pip to bring him some food. Now come to next part. Answer the questions about this line from the story. The man jumped and made a short run, but when he stopped and looked over his shoulder, A. Who is this about? The convict. B. Why did he start to run away? He thought that Pip's parents were close by. C. What did he realize that made him stop? He realized that Pip was pointing to the gravestones which had his parents' names on them. Now come to B part, working with words. Find the correct meanings of the following in a dictionary. Write the words and meanings in your notebook. Note that the words may have more than one meaning. A. Iron. A strong, hard, grey metal. B. Safe. Protected from danger or risk. C. Present. Occurring now. D. Danger. The possibility of suffering injury or harm. E. Fail. To not do something or to be unsuccessful. F. Tuck. To push in loose pieces of cloth to make it tidy or comfortable. Number 6. G. Tilt. To move into a sloping position. H. Hugged. Squeezed tightly. I. File. To tool with a rough surface used for shaping a hard metal. J. Creep. To move slowly or carefully in order to avoid being noticed. Now come to next page, page number 19. The letters in the words below are jumbled. We call these words anagrams. Example, bread is an anagram of B-E-A-R-D. What are these words? You will find the anagrams in the story. D-A-I-S. A. Said. B. What. C. Went. D. Stone. E. Name. F. Live. G. Times. H. Arms. I. File. J. Came. Now come to not so easy. A. Roasted. B. Clothes. C. Heart. D. Tombstone. Now come to adjectives. Underline the adjectives in the following. Once upon a time there lived a young girl. Young is adjective. Number 2. B. She went to a good school and had a clever teacher. Good and clever are adjectives. C. By mistake she brought her old textbook to class instead of the new one. Old and new are adjective. D. The forgetful girl thought the teacher would shout at her in a loud voice. Forgetful and loud are adjective. E. But the thoughtful teacher noticed the poor girl's expression. Thoughtful and poor are adjective. The teacher opened her metal cupboard with a shiny key. Metal and shiny are adjective. G. You can borrow this spare copy, said the kind teacher. Spare and kind are adjective here. Thank you for listening.